Hi guys, welcome to Operation Crypto and this price analysis update on MultiVAC, which is ticker MTV. We'll take a look at the asset in both USDT and the BTC pairings and identify a few key levels where we could potentially invest and where we could look to take profit or accumulate. If you're new to this channel, please make sure that you are subscribed, hit that like button, and let's crack on. So welcome, as ever, this video is in partnership with Cointelegraph Markets Pro. If you want to get one step ahead of the game, go ahead and check their platform out. You'll find a full platform review on the front page of my YouTube channel. So MultiVAC Tether, this is a daily time frame. I'm using the KuCoin chart. It's starting to get a good rise now. Last time I looked at this asset was around the 15th of October. And I didn't mention buys on this moving average 50 here. We've come down and pretty much tapped it again around that region around the 19th. And that is the area I was looking. I mean, look at that. That has been a key level of support. One key factor I use when looking at market cycles is the price, whether it is trading above or below the 50. So one tip, if you're ever looking to long an asset or short an asset, make sure it is above the moving average 50 for long and below the moving average 50 for a short. If I were ever going to do anything, that is one key indicator I would always look to. And as you can see, we had a bullish cross down here on the 6th of August, been down to tap the 20 a couple of times. We've only just started to come down and tap the moving average 50. We did have a wick right down here, which bounced off this area of support at around 13.6 cents, but we did not close below it. So and then the next daily candle closed on it. Bang, same again. So I do recommend that if people are looking to using moving averages over the higher time frames, then look for the moving average 50 and the 20. I think it can give you some key levels, especially at 50. 50 is one of my favorite ones out there. I just want to take a quick look at Bitcoin, because obviously whatever Bitcoin does, the market is doing. We are currently rejected off a new all-time high at 67k. I'm looking for some buys around here, around 57k, or even a tap of this moving average 20. We've got a bullish cross down here on the 1st of October. That's when the pump really started. And I reckon there's at least a test coming, whether it's up here or whether it's down here. I think there's a good test. We're not going to test a 50 on this move, I don't think. We're going to test a 20. So let's just visualize that this 20 is going to start creeping up and you're looking for some buys on Bitcoin. I would look at that region there, around 58k. Could be a nice little tap. Remember, we can wick below it, but we're not going to close below it. So this area here at 57k is the area I would consider. But that's my thoughts on Bitcoin. If it does drop, ultimately alts may drop with it. So just be wary and you may get some orders filled. And that will bring us nicely into looking at some key levels that we could potentially target on MultiVAC in the dollar pair. So let's just get rid of all this noise here and we'll get rid of moving averages. I mean, let's just put that moving average 50 back on. If you're looking for some buys, we'll look at this in terms of fib. So we'll go from the bottom here to the top. So whenever I'm doing a fib, if you're new to cryptocurrency, this Fibonacci, you place it on the bottom of a move and the top of a move, and you wait for a retracement down. And there's lots of levels you can have this fib, but I've only selected two, the 382 and the 618, which for me are fundamentally key levels. And as you can see, we've been down and tapped this moving average 50 multiple times. And visualize this moving average 50 continuing like this now. Not the best line, but if you're looking for buys, what I usually target is this 382 level, so you're looking at 0.018. But I would not discount this region here at 0.0166, and that would motivate nicely with a drop, a tap on that moving average 50, and then a push to the upside. So if you're looking for buys, what I would do, I would consider placing some orders from 0.018 down to 0.0166, and I think that area there looks like an area we could come down, because I mean, looking at the entire market, we've been up, come down, test that moving average 50, been up, hit a high, come back down, test moving average 50, up, back down. I mean, how many times do you want me to say it? And I think that same is going to happen here, and that is a potential. We're using that moving average 50 as a trend bias, and it is an uptrend now. It's a clear uptrend. If you zoom out onto the weekly, for example, you can see we are trending up all the way from down here. If you look at this, we'll put a trend line on from the bottom. That is a key trend line, and that moving average 50, if we drop down into the 4 hour, probably lines all over, but you can see that is close to the trend line, isn't it? I mean, probably not going to test it exactly, but there's a lot of things going on there. Them lines, circles are absolutely horrific. Let's get rid of them. But yeah, that's the areas I would consider buying. So let's get rid of all the noise and we'll drop into the daily time frame and have a look at a couple of key levels where we could potentially take some profit, because profit is king. And people always say, when do I take profit? How do I do it? What do I do? A key thing for me is once you have at least times 2 your bags, so you multiplied your bags by 2, you need to look at key levels. So what I start to do is once I do 2 things. If I've times 2 my portfolio, I either start skimming 10 to 20% off, or I sell my initial investment and then I reinvest that either into the same asset once it drops in price or a different asset. But remember, profit is king. Do not buy a bag and think it's going to go to $1 million, because it rarely happens. It does, but try and keep to an amount you can feel happy with and keep taking profit. Profit is king, remember that. So that is areas I would buy, 0.018 to 0.016. The areas to target. So we're not a million miles of price discovery, because price discovery, the all-time high, back in the beginning of September, I do believe. Let me just have a zoom out and see what's going on. Yeah, so that's the all-time high there at 0.025. Dropping back to the 4 hour, we can see some key levels above. So we've got these extensions on the fib. That's the all-time high marker there. Obviously, that's going to be the first area to break through. Once we break through that, we can start having a look at some more levels. So what I would consider doing is taking some profit here at 0.025. It will reject, always rejects. It's rejected there, it's rejected there, and I will say it will reject there. I don't think it will be a significant drop, because that dropped a whole lot there, that dropped a whole lot there. I reckon it's going to be a little tap and then a breakthrough of resistance. So that's the area I would look to take a little bit of profit. When I mean a little bit of profit, I mean just 5 or 10% of your bag, and then hold on, because it's going to go on and start creating some new all-time highs way above. But I want to look at some price predictions and some areas we can target, and I think these are still going to be undervalued predictions here. But if you look at the entire move there from the all-time high, let me just zoom back out. Yeah, that is definitely all-time high. So I'll have a look at some extensions above. So we've got 3.1 cent, 3.9, 4.3. We've got 5.2. I think all these are massively undervalued. You've got 6.5. I think, personally, by the end of this year, I reckon we'll be pushing 15 to 20 cent. There's a lot of this asset which is locked up now within staking. It's closing on 4 billion, and 4 billion is a huge amount. If we just take a quick look at the supply itself, not look at my portfolio, I don't want to shill that to everybody. So look at my look at this. Look at MTV, rank 596. So look at that circulating supply, 3.4 billion. Pretty much most of that is locked up in staking. So that's another bullish sign that people are locked. The price is just going to continue to rise and rise and rise. And if you're unaware of MultiVAC, the asset in terms of capabilities, in terms of scalability, is second to none. I mean, the TPS on the network is superior to most other assets, including XRP. So that's pretty much analysis on that pair covered. What I want to do is just take a quick look at the BTC pairing, because I know a few people like to trade in Satoshis if you've been around in crypto for a couple of years. If you're new to crypto, you probably won't have a clue how to trade in BTC, but looking at this, we're broken out now of that long-term downtrend since, 2nd of September, and it has been a nice breakout. But looking on 3-day, I think we've been higher on that. Yeah, we've been a lot higher on that. A lot of the Satoshi pairs have been so much higher. Look at that, back in April 19, it was crazy high. We've got a lot of red levels in here, so I think personally the BTC pairs are going to suffer. So if you're looking for some buys, I would consider buys down here. I know you're thinking, Andy, that's like 50% down, but 142 sats in there, I would consider to buy. And going back to the daily, I would also consider here. So what I would do, ladder some down from 246 down to 140. Maybe 3 to 4 orders staggered down in a laddered format down there. And I think that could be some decent areas for you to potentially pick up some MTV in the BTC pair. And then this next level, if you're looking to sell to accumulate, that's probably the next level I would consider in terms of a bit of a path. We've had obviously shit downtrend, a breakout of that downtrend. I'm expecting us to either retest the downtrend here or come down to this region and then push up and attack that area and then probably onto that area too. But we'll have to wait and see. Depends what Bitcoin does over the next 6 to 12 weeks. Whatever Bitcoin does, I think the market's going to be a little bit indecisive, but eventually, once Bitcoin has topped, the rest of the market will start to push on, and then I think we'll really start to get some growth from there. Just one final point, that my Patreon is now live. I am pushing out daily updates within this Patreon platform, but also there's a private Discord server where we are pushing out content daily, questions, ask me anything, AMAs, chart requests, whatever you want, we have got it. So you'll find that link again in the pinned comment in the description of this video. So that's going to do it for today. Some analysis on MultiVAC varying both USDT and the BTC pairings. If you're new here, please make sure that you are subscribed. Hit that like button. I'll catch you next time.